More of a team player, I repeated, keeping my voice steady even though I was angry inside. My boss, Marcus, leaned back in his leather chair, that annoying smile still stuck on his face. Look, Emma, you're really good at your job. Nobody's saying otherwise. But Jessica? She knows how to get along with people. She brings energy to the office. You're just too focused on results. Too focused on results. Those words echoed in my mind as I gripped the sides of my chair. I had spent 5 years working hard for this company. Early mornings, late nights, and missed weekends. I brought in our biggest clients, made everything run smoother, and improved our department's performance by 40%. And now I was being skipped over for a promotion because I cared too much about doing my job well. My name is Emma Chin. At 32 years old, I finally understood that success at work isn't just about hard work. It's also about knowing how to play the game, flattering the right people and making coffee for the boss. Jessica was good at that. She had only been here for 2 years, but she already knew how to take credit for other people's work while barely doing her own. I watched as Marcus shuffled papers on his desk. He probably thought I'd argue or get upset. But I didn't. I calmly reached into my bag and took out a clean white envelope. I understand, I said, putting the envelope on his desk. And thanks for letting me know. That's my resignation letter. My last day is in 2 weeks. Marcus's smug smile faded. Clearly this wasn't what he expected. Now Emma, don't rush into this. Just because you didn't get the promotion. I'm not rushing, I interrupted calmly. I've thought about it carefully. And you're right, I care about results. That's why I'm leaving for a place where that actually matters. What Marcus didn't know, and what nobody else knew, was that I hadn't just been working on company projects these past 5 years. I'd been building something of my own. Something that would make Marcus's little promotion seem like a joke. As I walked out of his office, I could feel everyone staring at me. News travels fast in our department. Jessica was probably already picturing how she'd decorate my desk. I kept my head high and walked back to my desk, remembering the other paper tucked inside that resignation letter. The one that would show Marcus exactly what he was losing. The next 2 weeks went as expected. Jessica strutted around the office like she was in charge, pretending to learn her new job. She even stopped by my desk now and then, acting fake friendly. Emma, I hope there are no hard feelings, she said one morning, sitting on the edge of my desk. I know how hard you worked for that promotion. I looked up from my computer. I was calmly saving copies of all my work, not to steal anything. I'm better than that. But I wanted proof of everything I had done for this company. No hard feelings at all, Jessica. I'm sure you'll do great, I said. She smiled, thinking I had given up. She had no idea what was coming. The truth was, for the past 3 years, I had been quietly working on a new project management system. At first, it was just to help me organize my own work. But it turned into something much bigger. I tested it, improved it, and used it to get the amazing results that Marcus claimed were a problem. When I handed in my resignation letter, I included a report showing exactly how much time and money my system had saved the company. But that wasn't all. I also mentioned that I filed a patent for the system 6 months ago, and it had been approved last week. But the best part was yet to come. A week after I gave my notice, I got an email from Robert Chin, the CEO of our biggest competitor. He'd heard I was leaving and wanted to meet for coffee. I smiled when I saw his name. Everything was happening exactly as I had planned. The meeting with Robert went perfectly. He had been watching my work for months and was impressed by how I had improved client relationships and made everything run smoother. He didn't just offer me a job, he offered me a partnership, full control over how my system would be used across their company. We've been looking for someone like you, Emma, he said, sliding a contract toward me. Someone who understands the importance of real results. The pay is 3 times what you earn now, and you'll own part of the company. I took the contract. My hands were steady even though my heart was racing. This was what it felt like to finally be appreciated. On my last day, when I returned my security badge, Marcus called me into his office one last time. His usual smug smile was gone. He looked nervous. Emma, we need to talk about the report you gave with your resignation, he said, holding the papers with shaky hands. Why didn't you tell us about this system earlier? I sat down calmly. I did try, Marcus. 3 times last year I asked for meetings to talk about new ways to improve efficiency. You told me to focus on team dynamics instead. His face went pale as he flipped through the report. This is incredible. The amount of money and time saved, and you've already patented it. I nodded, enjoying the moment. Yes. And I've accepted a job with Chin Industries. They're excited to use the system in their company. Marcus's face fell as he realized his mistake. Chin Industries, our biggest competitor. Emma, you can't do that. What about loyalty to this company? I laughed softly. Loyalty? Like the loyalty you showed me when you promoted Jessica? Or when you ignored all my ideas because I wasn't good at office small talk? I stood up, straightening my jacket. You know what's funny, Marcus? If you had paid attention to the actual results I brought instead of who fetched your coffee or laughed at your jokes, this wouldn't be happening. But you didn't. And now Chin Industries has something you can't compete with. We'll match whatever they offered you, he said quickly, clearly desperate. We'll promote you to senior director. Please, don't go to Chin. I shook my head, almost feeling sorry for him. It's not about the money or the title, Marcus. It's about respect. It's about being valued. And you made it clear how little you value me. As I walked out of his office for the last time, I heard him urgently calling someone, probably the executive team, trying to fix the mess. But it was too late. The patent was mine. The new job was signed. And as for Jessica, she would soon learn that stealing credit only works for so long. Sooner or later you have to actually get results. That evening while packing my desk I smiled. Everything had gone exactly as I planned. I found a post-it note stuck to my computer screen. It was from Jessica, written in her neat, curly handwriting. Sorry to see you go. Keep in touch. I smiled as I crumpled it up and tossed it in the trash. She would be hearing about me, all right, the whole industry would. My first day at Chin Industries felt like walking into a whole new world. Instead of a tiny cubicle, I had a corner office with huge windows. My name was on a shiny glass nameplate. Emma Chin, Director of Operations and Strategic Innovation. But the real difference wasn't the office or the fancy title. It was how people treated me. Robert Chin, the CEO, called a big meeting to introduce me. Standing at the front of the packed room, he didn't just say my name. He talked about everything I had achieved, explained how my project management system worked, and made it clear that I had full control to make changes across the company. Emma isn't just joining our team, he said. She's bringing a new way of working that will change how we do business. I expect everyone to support her. It couldn't have been more different from my old job. There, I was the quiet worker, the one who got results but never got noticed. Here they celebrated the thing Marcus had ignored, my focus on getting things done. But the real satisfaction came 3 months later. I was in a meeting when my phone buzzed with a message from my old coworker, David. You might want to check the news. Something big just happened with Meridian Corporation. Meridian Corp. My old company. I quickly left the meeting and went to my office. I opened the industry news website. The headline made me smile. Meridian Corp stock drops 30% after major setbacks. The article explained that Meridian had lost 3 big clients in the last few months, and more were thinking of leaving. Projects were delayed, costs were rising, and everything was falling apart. Their stock price was crashing. As I read, one quote stood out. It was from Thomas Reynolds, one of our biggest old clients. Meridian's service has gotten terrible. Projects that used to run smoothly are now always delayed. It's like they've completely lost control. I smiled. Those smooth projects. They ran on the system I created. The structure they lost? That was the system I built over 5 years. The same one Marcus never understood. Another message from David popped up. Jessica's freaking out. She can't handle the work. Marcus is finally seeing she has no clue what she's doing. I set my phone down, amused by how things had turned out. Jessica, who spent 2 years taking credit for other people's work, now had to deliver real results. And Marcus, who cared more about appearances than real work, was watching his department fall apart. Meanwhile, at Chin Industries, my system was making a huge impact. Projects finished twice as fast, clients were happier than ever, and efficiency numbers were through the roof. Robert had already approved my plan to roll out the system across the whole company. Big clients were lining up to license the technology. 6 months after I left Meridian, I walked into my office and saw Robert waiting with a newspaper in his hand. Have you seen this? He asked, showing me the headline. Meridian Corp CEO steps down amid ongoing crisis. I nodded as I took the paper. I saw. They're restructuring everything, Robert said, watching me closely. The board finally realized they mishandled their best talent. They tried to copy your system, but without the foundation it won't work, I finished. The system isn't just software. It's about how all the pieces fit together. Robert smiled. The kind of smile that told me he knew exactly how valuable I was. That's why we're promoting you to executive vice president next week, he said. The board voted unanimously. They've seen what you've done and they want more. I felt proud. This was real recognition. This was what it felt like to be valued for my actual work, not for playing office politics. Later that day, an unexpected email landed in my inbox. It was from Marcus. I opened the email from Marcus and read it twice. Emma, I hope you're doing well. I'm sure you've heard about everything happening at Meridian. I wanted to say I made a huge mistake by not seeing how valuable you were to the company. The system you built was the reason for our success, but we didn't realize that until you were gone. I'm no longer with Meridian. The board asked me to resign last week. Before I left, I made sure they knew all this could have been avoided if we had listened to you. Jessica quit a month ago. Turns out, doing real work is much harder than taking credit for someone else's. I know it's too late to fix things, but I wanted you to know. You were right. Results do matter. I just wish I'd seen that sooner. Bess. Marcus. I let the words sink in. There was a time when hearing this would have meant the world to me. But now, sitting in my executive office at Chin Industries, getting ready for another board meeting where my ideas were respected and heard, it felt like an old story, one I had already moved on from. I clicked reply and typed, Marcus, thank you for your message. You're right, results do matter. I wish you all the best for the future. Bess. Emma. I hit send and looked up at the wall in front of me. There was my framed patent certificate, the one for the system I built. Next to it, a plaque celebrating our company's record-breaking quarter. Beside that, a news article with my photo, naming me one of the rising stars in the industry. I smiled, thinking back to the day Marcus told me I was too focused on results. Funny how that turned out to be the best compliment of all. Because here at Chin Industries, those results were making real change. They were changing the whole industry. The next morning, I called my team into the conference room. As I looked around at their eager faces, people who respected me, who believed in me, who wanted to learn from me, I felt proud. Today, I began, we'll talk about our next big project. But first, I want to tell you a story, the importance of recognizing real value. Not just in systems, but in people. As I spoke, I could see them understanding. They got it. Success wasn't about playing office politics or pretending to be a team player. It was about building real things, making a real difference, standing by your ideas. And sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a better life. Marcus, Jessica, and Meridian had taught me that even if they never meant to. That evening as I drove home, I passed by the Meridian Corp building. The logo that once felt so intimidating now looked old and faded. A big for lease sign hung in the window. They were downsizing, paying the price for their bad decisions. But I didn't feel happy about their downfall. I felt thankful. Thankful they underestimated me. Thankful they pushed me away. Thankful they forced me to prove my worth. To them, but more importantly, to myself. Because sometimes rejection is the best thing that can happen to you. It pushes you to grow, to build, to aim higher. And sometimes being too focused on results is exactly what you need to be. Just as I parked at home, my phone buzzed. It was a text from David. Meridian's board is asking about you. They want to know if you'd consider coming back as CEO. I smiled as I typed back. Thanks, but I'm exactly where I need to be. And I meant it. Success isn't just proving others wrong. It's proving yourself right. It's knowing your worth. It's standing firm even when others doubt you. As I sat down at my home office, reviewing proposals to expand our system worldwide, I smiled again. Marcus had been right about one thing. I was too focused on results. And those results had taken me exactly where I belonged.